All right, welcome everybody. We are standing by for Donald Trump at the top of the hour in a press propaganda event, but Mike Pence is also speaking right now. So as a general policy on this program, we tend not to ever play any audio of Mike Pence. Oh, what's up with my graphics? That's really weird. I got to get that fixed. Oh, that's weird. We're gonna look at that very strongly momentarily. I try not to really do any Pence stuff. Oh, there's my graphics, Pence stuff, because it's just such propaganda nonsense. But he is speaking right now, and I guess we'll kind of keep it on the screen while we are chatting here. At the top of the hour, roughly, we are expecting to hear from Donald Trump in another one of these propaganda roundtables, but it is believed he will take questions. And Trump has been extremely triggered all day on Twitter because of the Supreme Court decision about DACA, which he lost on, because his administration made a terrible legal argument, quite frankly. It's actually plausible that they could have won. And I'm going to have a full analysis on tomorrow's podcast and broadcast show and YouTube clips and all of that stuff. He also is hugely triggered by John Bolton's book, which again exposes Trump as just as incompetent as we believed him to be. And I have a segment which I've already recorded. I just can the hot takes stop, guys? Is that a crazy request? Can we just stop the stupid hot takes? You've got the hot take from the right, which is nothing Bolton says can be believed because he's a disgruntled loser. Okay. Obviously, that's a dumb argument. You've got some on the left. There's so-called enlightened, or sometimes, I don't even know what the right. There's just some people on the left who are now coming out with the position that all of these dumb leftists who fell for Russiagate, who fell for impeachment, who believed Ukraine, are now believing Bolton, who's a neoconservative, pro-Iraq war, immoral, whatever. That's also a really dumb argument, okay? So we've got to be able to parse this stuff. Is Bolton a traitor? Yeah, I would say he is. And the reason Bolton's a traitor is that the allegations he makes in his book, which I find widely believable, could have been made 7 months ago. If Bolton really feels a patriotic duty to inform us about what Donald Trump did, then he should have done it 7 months ago. Now, why did he wait? Well, mostly so he could sell a book would be my guess. He could have gone and testified before the House Impeachment Committee. He could have gone and done interviews. So, yes, these allegations are so serious that I believe it is traitorous to have held them for 7 months to put them in a book. But that doesn't mean they're not true. And that doesn't mean Bolton's a good guy. And it doesn't mean Bolton was right to get us into the Iraq war. And it doesn't mean Bolton is no longer a neoconservative tool. So I get that everybody's trying to be interesting and get clicks and either be contrarian or, all this different stuff. All of these different things are true at the same time. And I don't for a second believe John Bolton is going to fabricate these allegations out of thin air. They passed the sniff test because we've been watching Trump for 3.5 years. But at the same time, I'm not going to go buy Bolton's book and reward him for holding on to this information for 7 months. That I would argue that is traitorous. So I'll have a deeper. I've got like a half hour on Bolton that I'm doing on today's show, and the podcast will be out in 30 minutes if you want to subscribe to that on Spotify. Where the hell do people listen to podcasts? I'm too fired up even to list podcast platforms. Please. Okay. We are watching Mike Pence, but we're not going to listen to him. And then we are standing by for Donald Trump at the top of the hour. I'm hoping that Donald Trump is going to be asked questions about his tweets on DACA, the John Bolton stuff. So that's really, the propaganda roundtable is essentially worthless. But I am hoping that we hear some nasty questions, so-called, asked of Donald Trump. I prefer to call it journalism, not nasty questions. Let me say a huge thank you to Celeste Rujan. Celeste Rujan is new member number 1 today at joinpacman.com. And David Berger. David Berger is new member number 2 today at joinpacman.com. I very much appreciate that. If you are just joining us and you're wondering when the chess tournament is, it was 2 days ago. Oh, sorry, I froze there. It was 2 days ago, and we had 732 people play. I came in around 180th, I think. Stephen, Kenneth, Destiny, Benel, the second played. The winner was international master Eric Rosen, and it was absolutely fantastic. I had to buffer sometimes I buffer in real life. That's what happened there. So the chess tournament is over, but we will have a third chess tournament at some point. Yeah, the frozen David meme. There's one where at some point I froze when Trump said something really crazy. I think it was this position. Oh, sorry. And anyway, that was turned into a meme, and it's all. I love it. I mean, I love it. I'm guessing it's like 17-year-olds who are doing that, but it was still really good. Real life buffering. Okay, super. Oh wait, no. Let me go first to Twitch. Zizak has subscribed for 4 months with Twitch Prime, and I very much appreciate that. Thank you. Over on YouTube, the super chats are pouring in like lies pour out of Trump's mouth. Matt Chavez says, what are your thoughts on what the Supreme Court will rule on Trump's taxes? I have no idea. I don't try to predict Supreme Court rulings because it just, who knows? Jaff94 says, concerned Oklahoman here, and we have no number on today's cases yet. Yeah, Trump holding a rally in Oklahoma upcoming. I will not be going, and I don't recommend that you go either. Zachary Foster says, lots of good news on the vaccine now. I didn't see any. Let me see what we've got. Let me pull up news.google.com. And we want to look for coronavirus vaccine. I didn't hear anything. Trump pushing officials to speed it up. Moderna's vaccine will be ready in 2021. Okay, that's what we expected. I'm not seeing anything particularly notable about the vaccine. So maybe send me something if you're aware of something in particular. I think what we'll do is we'll turn the audio up here, but we'll just keep our shot on Pence. Jimmy Bignuts says, could you interview Vaush, fastest gurgling lefty eater? Oh, my goodness. Okay. Eli Gray says, become a member, David, is the best period. I'm having trouble grammatically parsing some of these super chats. Mark says, what are your thoughts on recent North Korean aggression? You know, we discussed that on yesterday's bonus show, Mark. So I don't want to, I try to avoid redoing content on the show. So I'm not going to, we did talk about that on the bonus show though. Eli Gray says, David, are you familiar with Unicorn Riot? I think it's a band, right? I don't know anything else about it other than I believe that it's a band. Thanks also to Thomas Fields for signing up for a YouTube subscription at the beta level. And Sean McCracken says, you muted me. I don't know what you're talking about, Sean. I muted you. You're on screen right now. Biden polling impacts stock drops. You called it dumb. Oh my God, I have no clue what Sean's talking about. I'm a big fan and lib. Didn't mean to offend. Sean D. McCracken is my Twitter. Sean, I say this with complete and total peace and love and endless humility. I have no idea what you're talking about, but we will look into it. Let me say thank you to Gravturn, who has subscribed with Twitch Prime, which I very, very much appreciate. It's conceivable that we may have a hype train triggered on Twitch at some point in time. Do you guys want to see a little cringe video? I think I'm going to show it. I retweeted this yesterday. This made me physically sick. Okay. This is, oh boy, I've got to, that was also way, way, way too loud. Let's see if we can do a little something about that. This is, I guess, people already waiting in line for Trump's Tulsa rally. And let's see if I can show this to you a little bigger. Just take a look at this. Come on, everybody, vote, yeah. Come on, everybody, vote, yeah. Woo! Another USA, freedom on the combat. Give it away. It's time to vote. It's time to pray. Join everyone. By the way, what is this guy holding? Is this a speaker? Is this a purse? Is it what is this a fanny pack that he's removed? I don't know what that is.
Let me hear you say, go Trump, 2020, go Trump, 2020, go Trump, 2020.
Is this a family? It seems almost like one of those Mormon families with 10 kids.
Go Trump, keep America great, keep America great.
You know what's funny? Now that I've seen it a bunch of times, it's weird. I'm like desensitized to it now. When I saw that for the first time yesterday, oh wow, look, here is a tweet of me watching this video with you guys right now. It's like Inception. When I tweeted it yesterday at 16 hours ago, I guess that would have been like 7 p.m. It made me feel physically ill. It only had like 1 million views. Now it has 11 million views, and it actually seems more comedic at this point. It's weird how quickly I become desensitized to it. Very, very odd stuff, but that's just absolutely sick. Let me say thank you to Goku for the 5 months on Twitch Prime. Full Metal Crusade, also 5 months, and says 5 months subbed on Twitch and over a year on the website. Thank you. Very much appreciate it. We are in a full-blown hype train on Twitch right now. We have already achieved level 2, and it's been a while since we've succeeded on level 5, but we are on we are in the middle of a hype train, and it's getting extremely, extremely exciting. Okay, questions coming in via Super Chat. Zachary Foster says news on vaccine. Okay, let's take a look at this. Let me first vet it before. I don't want to put like a swastika up on the screen. Oxford University scientists, 80% vaccine would work and it could be ready in a few weeks. Oh my God. A coronavirus. Let's take a look at that. How triggered would Trump be if it's a different country who does it? A coronavirus vaccine developed by scientists at Oxford, administered using an inhaler, could be ready as early as August. Irish scientist Professor Adrian from Oxford University Center for Personalized Medicine said researchers are 80% confident the vaccine that will work. The arrival could depend on whether transmission rates continue to decline. It could be around August. It might be before if cases do not decline as quickly as we expect, or later if we run out of cases. Warned the research could be slowed if transmission rates fall too low. If too few volunteers catch the virus, they would be unable to immediately accurately assess whether it is effective. That is amazing. That is absolutely stunning news. Thank you for pointing it out. You know, a lot of countries have basically fixed coronavirus, but we haven't, as you can see here. Very, very ugly. Trump pretending like it's over, but we had 26,000 new cases yesterday. It's really, really bad. Active cases on the rise. Deaths have still been declining, which is good, but you know, we're probably still a few days out from seeing the effect on deaths of the recent spikes that we've been seeing since early June. So we very much need a vaccine, and it may indeed be, you know, a different country that ends up with it. But that is absolutely amazing news about the vaccine. Thank you to Jason Nash, who's new member number 3 on my website, joinpacman.com. Appreciate that, Jason. We have about 2 minutes to achieve a level 2 hype train over on Twitch, which is extremely exciting. If you're just joining us, we're expecting to hear from Donald Trump roughly at the top of the hour. Hopefully he will be asked about John Bolton. Hopefully he will be asked about the Supreme Court decisions that have gone against him. Michael Blanco says, hey, David, will you be streaming the Tulsa, Oklahoma rally? You know, I probably will not. I'm going to be out of town over the weekend for Father's Day, and I probably am not going to stream it. But I may stream future Trump rally. I mean, I disagree that they should even be taking place. So it's sort of, you know, I have to think about even the impact of me streaming it. I'm going to think about that. Sean McCracken says, it's tough with this word limit. Sorry, I wasn't clear. It was on Twitter. I said Biden's polling causes a market drop. You said it was dumb and muted. Okay, I have no recollection of that. I don't believe that the market is reacting to Biden's polling. And also the market does better under Democratic presidents than Republicans. And it's not by a small margin. So that seems very counterintuitive to me. Jaff94 says, my state is embarrassing. I'm sorry. Apology accepted. Thomas Fletcher sends a super chat. Eli Gray says, Unicorn Riot is a not-for-profit media. Okay, it's not a band. that live streams from the front lines at protests all of the country on YouTube. Seriously, check it out. All right, I will. Nasty Question says, thoughts on Matt Gates's non-white child? I saw one tweet. I know very, very little about it. Tyler in the Residence says, my favorite part of the David Pacman chess tournament was watching David try to checkmate with two rooks, and he ended up chasing the king around. Very strong elements of comedy. Yeah. After the fact, when I analyzed, I realized all I had to do was play a waiting move, like moving my king, and then it would have forced my opponent's king into a position where I would have had mate in one, essentially. So, listen, I said I would run a nice, clean chess tournament, even though some people were caught cheating incredibly. Oh, we have hit level 3 on the hype train. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. I said we would probably have more than players than the first time, and we did. We had 732 instead of 500. I didn't say I was good at chess. I never said I was good at chess. So that is no change as far as that's concerned. Okay. Netty505 has subscribed with Prime. Dr. Wag85 has subscribed with Prime. Wafer is a new Prime subscriber. Constructive Insult has subscribed. Very much appreciate that. And we are now working on level 3 hype train. I see Pence is doing something weird. I just refuse to carry this in terms of from the standpoint of audio. So we're watching Pence, but we're waiting for Trump. And that's the gist. The Dark Half V2 says, at least that family has rhythm. Just kidding. Love the show and service, David. Smash the like and subscribe button. Oh, by the way, I have not mentioned this for a while because we're just so, like, there's just no time to do it. But because we have a minute now, our YouTube channel has exploded over the last 2 weeks. We are already beyond 860,000 YouTube subscribers. And we are, I mean, you know, I don't know when we're on track to hit 1 million, but we're certainly very strongly headed to 900,000, which is just unbelievable. So yes, if you are watching on YouTube, like and subscribe. It's all free. And nothing to sneeze at on Twitch either. We are still very powerfully streaming on Twitch and working. We're still working on our first 50,000 followers on Twitch. And I think it will happen at some point. Let me say thank you to Karsten Zeiner. Karsten Zeiner is new member number 4 today at joinpacman.com. We are standing by here for Donald Trump and another one of these propaganda roundtable events. I will mention that all of this stuff that we do, the podcasts, the YouTube clips, the live streams, the chess tournaments, the live phone calls, all of this stuff, we mostly depend on people who just grab a membership on my website. I know that there's a lot of confusion, people wondering, do I have a money tree in my urban garden? How do we pay staff salaries and equipment and connectivity? It's mostly just people who go to joinpacman.com and get a membership. That's really it. And as I've said many times before, we do this show for everybody. Only about 0.5% of our audience subscribes in any financial sense. But if you are in a position where $1 or $2 a month is something you can contribute to a channel that hopefully you like, I'm inviting you right now to go to joinpacman.com. The coupon code 2020now does save you 66%. That makes a membership $2 a month. If you pay for the year, it's $1.80 a month. Okay, so if you've been hit by the virus, if you're one of the 45 million people who lost their job because of the virus, if you've seen a reduction in hours, we're here. We're here for you. We're going to keep doing the show every single weekday and the streams and the entire thing. If you are in a position where you could get a $2 a month membership, I invite you to do it, and I will thank every single person who signs up. So, like, for example, John Hughes just signed up. Love that. Beautiful name. John Hughes is new member number 5 today, 5 at joinpacman.com. And I will make sure everybody gets a thank you. Very much appreciated. Okay, other super chats are coming in. No, wow. Actually, hold on a second. I'm Inconsolable has just gifted 10 subscriptions on Twitch. I'm Inconsolable is the top ever gifter of subscriptions on Twitch. I believe I'm Inconsolable. Hold on, I can't see it right now. How many memberships has I'm Inconsolable gifted? There's just a lot of animations happening right now. I can't even tell. Um, it's not showing me. Okay, but in any case, we are on a level 5 hype train happening exactly. Oh, 346, someone says. Very good. 346. That's incredible. All right, other folks itching to get in here. Ollie P says UK vaccine being mass produced, ready for launch. Yeah, we got the article. Incredible news. Truly incredible news. Renholder 57 says, can this skeleton monster get off the stage? Yeah, we're just showing video of Pence, but we're really waiting for Trump. He's only 8 minutes late so far, so it could still be a little bit, but we're keeping a very, very close eye on it. Seth Barham says via Super Chat, hi, David. I live in rural North Carolina and can report many are ashamed to wear masks because it's a conservative area and a cultural issue now. We're screwed. I feel bad for North Carolina. I feel bad for Texas. I feel bad for Arizona, Florida, both states I feel bad for. And it's really, really bad. And I am not planning on leaving Massachusetts for a while. I'm going on a little socially distant vacation next week, but I am staying within Massachusetts just because I know the policies. I can sort of trust what's going on. I can trust the data. I can trust the data. And there's a lot of great places to go in Massachusetts. You can go camping. You've got the Berkshires. You've got Cape Cod. You've got Martha's Vineyard, Nantucket. There's just, listen, I'm staying within the state for the time being. That's my plan. Sasquatch Hunter says Alaska here, so PFD, but UBI ploy by right math. My goodness, I don't know what that's about, but I do appreciate the support. Sean McCracken says, I'm a stock enthusiast. I absolutely agree. The data backs your opinion on the market. I wanted to clarify my support of you and your content. You're exploding because you're the best, in my opinion. Thank you, Sean. I appreciate that. Alex says, I'm a huge fan. Enjoy your videos every day. It is nice to hear some reasonable, logical ideas for a change. Our country is becoming crazy. Very much so. Very much so. Joe Grover, the effing game cat, says, if Trump does events in key states and makes many people sick, can he shut down voting if he makes enough people sick and call it an emergency? No, it would actually make the case stronger for vote by mail, which Trump opposes, which is crazy. Let me say thank you to Penguin TV for subscribing over on Twitch. Also, I'm Inconsolable just continues to gift subscriptions. Meticulous 7 with a 9-month Prime subscription has achieved Hype Train level 5. We've done it, folks. We've done it. I'm Inconsolable has just gifted another 10 subscriptions over on Twitch. It is wacky what is going on. I've read about stuff like this happening, but I've never experienced it myself. It's a real party over on Twitch right now. It's going to be hard to console me, quite frankly. Okay, other folks who are signing up on my website. Let me say thank you to Chris Wilson, who's new member number 6 today. Brian Xian is new member number 7. Robert McQueen is new member number 8. Marcy Carey is new member number 9. I also want to say thanks to Ruben Ramirez, new member number 10. I love it. Julie Felix is new member number 11. And Michael Lemus is new member number 12 today at joinpacman.com. It's crazy what's happening on my website. Really, really crazy right now. There seem to be 23 people in progress right now getting memberships. That's crazy. That is really wacky. Okay. Other super chats coming in. Unknown Geek says, apparently Beethoven is black due to his mother being Moorish. Oh my God, I have no idea. If so, we should look into figures' ancestries to stop history from being whitewashed. That's actually an interesting thing. If a lot of people are presumed to be white and they actually weren't, it is an interesting thing from a sociological standpoint. Okay, we are still waiting. Oh, this is over. Okay, oh, here. So Pence is done. All right, so now we're just waiting for Trump. Very good. Harold Lemoyne has subscribed on YouTube. Lee has subscribed on YouTube. Billy Big Brick says, hey, David, how about that coup in Bolivia? Danny Thompson says, I laugh thinking about as far as paid memberships to you is concerned. I am a member of the top 0.5%. For sure, the only way in life I will be able to say that. Thank you, Danny. Van A. Dulles says, what is that orange hairpiece talking about now? We don't know yet, but we're hoping for some very powerful, journalistic, nasty questions asked of Donald Trump. Am I taking phone calls? Oh, people are asking in chat if I'm taking phone calls after the stream. Probably not. I've got to go out and reseed my lawn. I've got patchy grass right now. So I went over to the garden center earlier and I bought some patch repair. So I'm going to be having a real party out in the yard after the stream, reseeding my lawn. So I probably will not be taking phone calls today, but it is something that we could look at doing very, very soon. Took phone calls a couple times last week. Waffles Giraffles says Trump water zip seems more like a tic/OCD. Oh, his sipping water, yeah. A lot of theories, hypotheses about that. JL Switzerland sends a super chat with no message. Krieg Saint says nice shape up. Is that a haircut thing? I think you're talking about my haircut. Very good. James Brinkwater, well, where did that go? Says, why is it that still millions of Americans support that obvious con man? Is it possible that after losing to Biden, Trump will run again in 4 years? No, he'll be like 80 years old. What do you think of Libertarian candidate Dr. Joe? Never heard of him or her. No idea. Gregory Shaver says, I was in South Carolina for a few days and people stared at me, my girlfriend, and her family for wearing masks. Scary times. It is scary. It is scary. Patrick Miller says, hey, buddy, was wondering if you had to choose between having a dinner with Hassan or Hassan, I see. Hassan or Destiny, which would you choose? Well, last time I was in LA, I had dinner with both of them. So I don't know why I have to choose other than the fact that they seem to hate each other now. I would never choose. I mean, listen, I would just have dinner with one of them one night and the other the next night if they aren't able to be around each other. What else can I say? Let me say a few other thank yous to people that are grabbing memberships. Jane Sylvester is new member number 13 today. Alex Bajuz is new member number 14 today. Teresa Thacker is new member number 15 today. Kit Miller is new member number 16 today. Very much appreciate the support. And okay, one person says that coupon code isn't working. It is working because a whole bunch of people are using it. It's possible that it's user error. Possible that it's user error. I'm not sure about that. But it seems to be working just fine. Few messages are coming in via Twitch. Ms. Erlisle says, you're my favorite coverage of the Cheeto in Chief. Much love from Canada. Thank you. I appreciate that. Typhoid Games has also subscribed, as well as Attila 2 and Moot Bar. A lot happening today. Very active on Twitch. Very, very active. Michael asks, have you seen the new Lincoln Project ad? Yes, I have a whole clip about it on my YouTube channel, which you can take a look at. Bacon Lover says, how did Corona become a political issue? What isn't political these days? Sasquatch Hunter says, PFD, Permanent Fund Dividend. Oh, that's the oil dividend, I believe, in Alaska, right? I did not know that's what it was called. JR says, I watched an interview you did on Fox 2 years ago with Dom, wherein you noted you may have looked intentionally whiter than the others. Would you ever be interviewed on Fox again, or have you? Okay. That requires some explanation. Let me see if I can pull this up. I looked intentionally whiter. Let's see. Progressive David Pakman, Fox News. Let me see if I can find this. Okay. So here's the video while we're waiting for Trump. So I was so as many of you know, whoa, let's check out the video. So I was on Fox News a little while ago. See how the white balance is such that this guy looks tan and Leland Vittert looks tan, but I look like a freaking ghost. Can anybody see that? So I'm not saying they did this to me on purpose, but when I walked into the studio, like I'm familiar with the color temperature of my lights and I have a monitor. I've any number of monitors. I know, like when I see the lighting and I see the monitor, I know if what the color temperature needs to be for me not to look like this, right? So the second I walked in to that studio, just looking at the lights, I was like, this looks a little too white for me. And then when I saw myself on the monitor, I was like, I look absolutely sickly here. And obviously, as you can tell, everybody else seems to have proper lighting other than me. So I don't know that they did it on purpose. The truth is, if they had seen that I was coming in too light to where they mix the three shots, they could have done color correction just on my shot and fixed it. So certainly nobody seemed to be making any effort to fix it. So yeah, I mean, it was probably indifference to some degree. We're still waiting on Trump, but I don't even remember this. Let's listen to a little bit of it.
Whether it be John Huntsman, National Security Advisor Bolton, or others, they are far harsher in their rhetoric than the president. What do you?
Yeah, it should be mentioned. This guy looks like an idiot, right? I mean, like the color that his skin looks. I don't know if that's spray tan or if he got totally yellow light. Like I'm not trying to look like this, but I look ill. I look ill.
Make of it?
That's true, Leland, and I wish the president were harsher in this, but the actions of President Trump, what his administration is actually doing, we put more sanctions on Putin. We've kicked out more of the delegates from the Soviet former.
This guy's from Philly, and he has the same accent as Jimmy from Philly, not surprisingly.
From Russia. So his actions have been firm in this manner, and I think it's way overblown that he's going to give away the store. President Trump is not going to do that in any kind of negotiation. I wish the rhetoric, though, were more direct toward Putin. That's where I usually am.
David, it brings up an interesting point. Is the left's problem
So
with
I'm smirking here because this guy is not really bringing up an interesting point.
President Trump, among many that they have, the way he goes about foreign policy, or actually the substance of it? Because as David points out, Dom points out, he's been pretty tough on Putin, much tougher than Obama in many ways, by selling lethal weapons to the Ukrainians.
Yeah, I think that the problem really is the easily manipulable reality of Donald Trump. And I think if we want a sort of a preview of what we could expect with Putin, we look at what happened with Kim Jong-un.
By the way, Boston radio host.
Donald Trump claimed victory on the basis of the exact same vague promises that we'd gotten from North Korea before, tweeted on the way back that the nuclear threat is over, and we just learned that last week
hold on,
Kim
David,
Jong-un
in that
bailed
vein,
on...
Oh, but hold on a second, Leland. You didn't interrupt the orange guy. Why are you interrupting me?
In that vein, the president just tweeted even this morning. He said, wait a second. He said, it's been 9 months. There hasn't been a nuclear test, and there hasn't...
I had actually forgotten that. I couldn't really interrupt him, but I signaled I wasn't
Donald
pleased
Trump
with it.
claimed victory on the basis of the exact same vague promises that we'd gotten from North Korea before, tweeted on the way back that the nuclear threat is over, and we just learned that last week
hold on,
Kim
David.
Jong-un
In that vein, the president just tweeted even this morning. He said, wait a second. He said, it's been 9 months. There hasn't been a nuclear test, and there hasn't been a missile test.
So there's the first interruption. Okay, so then this is me talking about me on Fox News. Anyway, that entire thing is on YouTube, and you guys can certainly find that. Okay, I don't want to fall behind because my website is barely able to keep up with some of the signups that are happening here. I want to say thank you to Jerry Schmier. Jerry Schmier is number 17 today. Sarah Stenikin is new member number 18 today. Maria Bohm is new member number 19 today. Jason Lortz is new member number 20. And Bradley Hollingsworth coming in out of nowhere, shot out of a cannon. Bradley is new member number 21 today. Very much appreciate that. The coupon code is under full power. 2020 now is a 66% discount, which is just crazy. I also want to say thank you over on Twitch to In Your Groove for subscribing with Twitch Prime. Psychologisms has subscribed with Prime. Big Bad Brad has subscribed with Prime as well. Very, very much appreciate that. Okay, if you're just joining us, Donald Trump was scheduled to speak 22 minutes ago. As you can tell, he hasn't yet started, and we are standing by. I don't really care what he's going to say about governors. It's just a propaganda event. But the hope is that Trump will take questions from the press and that there will be powerful questions about John Bolton, about Trump losing again at the Supreme Court, et cetera, et cetera. Okay, let me get back to some super chats. Per Tiren says, happy midsummer to all tomorrow. I thought June 21 was midsummer. That must be a Swedish thing, right? The Proletariat says, hey, David, I caught the tail end of the chess tournament. I heard you mention Destiny complaining about something. Are you guys beefing now? We are not beefing. I don't do fake beefs. I know that it has been recommended to me that I do fake beefs with someone. I'm not beefing with Stephen, Kenneth, Destiny, Bunnell II. I'm not beefing with Hassan, Destiny, Piker II. I'm not beefing, period. I'm just doing my thing. Squeedow has subscribed on YouTube. Where'd that go? There it is. Pixie Mattles says, I stand with that woman from Michigan. Great COVID-19 numbers. Beautiful. E-Lansing Success has subscribed at the soy boy level. Patrick Miller says, what if they were only serving lamb? Yeah, I told a story when I was interviewing Stephen Kenneth the other day about when I went to dinner with Hassan, Piker, and Stephen. And I jokingly said maybe Stephen didn't like what Hassan ordered, but it was just a joke. It was just a joke. Sam Rule says, hello from Vermont. Nothing important to highlight. Just wanted to make a contribution on top of my membership to my favorite independent news channel. Thanks, Sam. We love Vermont. We love Vermont. Jacob Ratner says, what's your take on the North Korea situation? I was asked about that about 15 minutes ago. We did a segment on yesterday's bonus show about it. So I'm going to forego that topic right now. And I say that with peace and love. Yellow Lemon says, Pac-Man, Destiny, Jesse Lee Peterson podcast. That's an idea. Horror Fan for Life says, David, what is your view on Tariq Nasheed debate? I don't know Tariq Nasheed's views, so I would not be able to say. Mart Fillion says, yesterday, Kayleigh McEnany said that Trump is concerned about kids' security and well-being. So what should we said to the children that live in cages for so long? Yes, your point is that's still going on, and it's absolutely horrifying. The Blue Noble says, David, you really should grow dragon fruit. Just grab a cutting, pot it up, and make a simple trellis. I recommend Delight or Sugar Dragon. Will that grow in Boston? I'd be curious to know about that. I want to say thanks to Hack Fui on Twitch, who subscribed with the message, hope you were having a good day. Camroy just gifted 5 subscriptions. I'm just going to drink water real quick. Hope people saw what I did there. And Wook Daddy has also subscribed for 2 months. Ella Willig says, what's the probability of Trump still being successful in stopping DACA? I addressed that on a segment about this. If Donald Trump is reelected, there's a good chance he stops DACA, because the reason the Supreme Court said no dice was not that DACA has to stay. The Supreme Court said Trump's argument for undoing Obama's order is not sufficient. So if Trump actually got proper lawyers, he could probably end DACA. And that is yet another reason why we've got to get rid of him. We've just got to get him out right away and not give him another opportunity to do it. Wah S says, hey, Dave. Hey. Christian Gaffield says, don't you think it's unethical for Kayleigh to wear a crucifix while lying? I mean, I don't care. I'm not Christian, but it seems that it would go against her own religious views. My guess is that if she was confronted, she would tell herself she's lying for the greater good, and so Jesus would be okay with it. Patrick Miller says, okay, one more and I'll stop. If you, Destiny, and Hassan were on an unsteady bridge that collapsed and you had them both on both of them on each of your hands, but you could only save one, which would you pick? So I want to just give you a very, very specific logistical thing. Stephen, Kenneth, Destiny, Bunnell II, and I are roughly the same size. Hassan is like twice my size. My guess is I would have a much more difficult time holding Hassan up than I would holding Stephen up. This is a weight issue. It is not political. It is nothing other than, like, Hassan weighs twice as much as Stephen Kenneth. So I mean, it's just, I would have to make a call based on that. That's just, you know, I abide by the rules of gravity. I didn't make them, I think, is the point I'm trying to make. Angel Perez says, hey, David, what do you think about the new $1.5 trillion infrastructure plan? I have not seen that. I would have to take a look at it. Jane Woman Power says, hi, nice to be here. Great to see you, Jane. I very much appreciate that. I also want to say thanks to Gefrierzel for subscribing on Twitch with the message, I enjoy your level-headed news commentary. Thank you very much. I very much appreciate that. I also want to say thank you to Brian Allens, or Brianne. I can't tell if it's Brianne or Brian. In any case, you are new member number 22 today at joinpacman.com. So we are a half hour past when this event was supposed to start. I do want to take a look at Trump's triggered Twitter to see if there's any update about this. 41 minutes ago, first thing the anarchists did upon taking over Seattle was build a wall. See, I was ahead of our times. Oh my goodness, that is like weaponized idiocy. Weaponized. So he tweeted a bunch a little while ago. When is he starting? This is very strange. Very, very strange. People are asking, so a couple things. So we got potentially very good news from Oxford University. They are now saying they may have an inhaler coronavirus vaccine by August, which is just absolutely incredible. We're going to talk more about that. But also, I'm just going to replay some cringe video for you one more time. Yesterday, when I played this, it made me physically ill. I'm a little desensitized to it now. But check out these people. I guess it's a family. I don't know. Waiting for the Trump Tulsa rally. Check it out.
4 years, come on everybody, 4 years, come on everybody, 4 years. Woo! Let there be another USA, freedom for the combat, give it away. It's time to vote, it's time to pray. Join everyone, let me hear you say.
Can you imagine?
2020, go Trump. 2020, vote Trump. 2020, vote Trump. Keep America great. Keep America great.
So this is the cultish stuff that we're fighting, my friends. It's absolutely horrifying, and that it's just what we're fighting. That's what it is, and we've got to do what we can. Willie B3 Gaming has subscribed with Prime and says, love the content. Keep up the good work. Thank you. I appreciate that very, very much. Also, a big thank you to Marcy Carey, who is new member number 23 today on my website, joinpacman.com. Okay, super chats. Let's see what else is coming in here. Wait, I missed a bunch. Larry Kemp says, just wanted to stop by with a donation. Been a subscriber to your channel for a while. I loved your take. Biden, I'm from Atlanta, Georgia. Do you think Keisha Lance Bottoms has a chance of being Biden's vice president? I do not. I do not believe that is likely. Patrick Miller says, sure, it's just a weight issue. The Blue Noble says it could grow outdoors in the summer, dragon fruit. They are fairly easy to grow if you use a simple compost to fertilize it. Choose red, pink, and purple fleshed type. Oh, my goodness. Lance Powers says, surprised about the Trump health rumors. I get that we can't trust anything he says, but we also don't have evidence, and he could just be old. He could just be old. And we've talked about that possibility as well. Andrew Dwyer says, have you been following Jamal Bowman? Is he the next AOC? I have been following a little bit. I don't know, next AOC, I'm not really sure. Horror Fan for Life says, as a biracial black man, I'm convinced 90% of conservatives are racist. Sad but true. They defend racism until the end. Plus, Trump is a well-known racist. Okay. CM Wells says, are you a one-man show, or do you have a production team? No, we have a production team. And, so when I thank people like Paul Abreu, who is new member number 24, and other people who sign up on my website, you're really supporting the entire thing. We this is a program where we help people with health insurance when they need it. People aren't just left. It's not. Oh, here we are. Let's see what's going on. Trump's struggling with technology. Yes, we have a full production team. We have a staff of 4. I'm just kind of waiting around. This is weird. Okay, this is odd. Yes, all right. Wade Flores says, David, speaking of cringe, what about the Stephen Coward video? Haven't seen it. I don't watch this stuff. Dylan McDonald says, saludos desde Tijuana. Greetings from Tijuana. I'm a dual citizen living in Tijuana, and you should
Okay,
see...
thank you very much.
Oh.
It's an honor to see you all today on this beautiful afternoon,
Yes.
White House. We're here today to discuss our efforts to support our nation's small businesses, working very hard, and safely reopen America, and that's what's happening.
By the
We're
way, guys, this is the president, just a reminder.
numbers like nobody's ever seen before, actually. I'm thrilled to be joined by 2 good friends of mine, Governor Pete Ricketts of Nebraska. Pete, thank you
Ricketts.
very much. And a man that I'm going to see a little bit over the weekend, and this was really by coincidence that you happen to be here today, because
Yeah.
it was for a different reason. It
Big
has to do
coincidence.
with small business. Governor Kevin Stitt of Oklahoma.
Kevin's tit.
And we're going to
That's
be in
weird.
Oklahoma, and it's a crowd like I guess nobody's seen before. We have tremendous requests for tickets, like I think probably has never happened politically before.
Never.
And one of the reasons we chose your state, as you know, Kevin, was that you've done so well with the COVID.
So that's very untrue. Kevin's tit was actually out at restaurants when every other state was locked down, posting pictures of himself. He ended up having to delete the picture because it was so horrible.
From their state. Also with us are Secretary of the Treasury, Stephen Mnuchin, and Small Business Administrator, Jovita. Thank you, Jovita. Very good. Small business is no longer small business, it's big business. It's one of the biggest businesses. As a result of the virus, 22% of small businesses were forced to close earlier this year, including 41% of Black-owned businesses. But under my administration's strategy to vanquish the virus and restart our economy, small businesses across the nation are now safely reopening. All over the nation, they're reopening at levels like nobody's seen before.
Many unsafe.
We're sheltering individuals at the highest risk. If you look at really high-risk individuals, we are really watching them, and we're taking care of
Who even
them,
believes
and we
a
know
word
what
this
the
guy's
high risk
saying at this
means. But
point?
largely, it means older people, especially older people, senior citizens that have
Senior.
a tremendous. They have a problem. If they have a heart problem, if they have diabetes, if they have any kind of a problem, they're much more susceptible. So we're all watching that very closely. We've learned a lot over the last number of months.
Yeah.
In the past 4 months, we've conducted over 25 million coronavirus tests and distributed over 1.5 billion pieces of personal protective equipment. America is better supplied and more prepared to re-enter than, I would say, just about any other place. You look at what we've done with ventilators.
Yeah. Look at Spain, Switzerland, Taiwan, Greece, Iceland, New Zealand, Australia. I mean, it's like, are we better prepared? Are we worse prepared is the question than any other place.
We're all stocked up. Our country is totally stocked up. Everybody has their ventilators that
Paris.
maximum they can use.
Love Paris.
But we are sending them to other countries. The nice part, and I say it a lot,
Yeah.
because I think it's pretty amazing, when we came here, you had very few ventilators in this country. And by the time we started,
Cupboards
not
were
one
bare.
person that needed a ventilator didn't get it. So everybody that needed a ventilator got a ventilator. There wasn't one instance anywhere in our country. And
we believe that's untrue.
we stocked up those shelves. The cupboard was empty, and we filled up the cupboards.
Cupboards.
In the past 4 months, tremendous things have happened. But I think probably the biggest thing of all is the knowledge that we've gained of this disease, of this plague, of this virus.
Right. Like
All
after
of what
2
you-
months of it, Trump thought maybe we inject bleach. That's something he learned.
I approved over $670 billion for the Paycheck Protection Program. And Steve, that's been a tremendous success.
Ended up being a huge slush fund for Trump's friends, incredibly.
Doing something further now, but the numbers, the way they're coming in, it's been really incredible. So we're able to spot it, but we're here to help businesses and to help people. To date, we've processed over 4.6 million small business loans, saving and supporting an estimated 50 million American jobs, Jovita. That's incredible. The small business owners that we have with us this afternoon all received the PPP loans, and now their businesses are on the road to recovery, and they're doing really well. We have a lot of businesses that are doing really well. We're talking about a V shape. We're almost like an I shape. I is straight up and down, but I talked about V shape, and a lot of people disagreed with me. Not everybody, but a lot of very smart Wall Streeters were disagreeing. Now they're pretty much coming on board.
Where does the dot above the eye play into an I-shaped recovery?
We were shooting for, and it looks like that's what we've got. I want to thank our people and my representatives for their decisive actions. And last month we added a record 2.5 million jobs. It's the highest in the history of our country in 1 month. That's the highest number of jobs.
Okay, go back and look at my video clip called "You're About to Get Slammed with Garbage Math." I literally predicted this is exactly what they would say. After record declines, when things start to come back, they would say, we're growing faster than we've ever grown before, as if people are stupid, because tens of millions are, unfortunately.
Fourth quarter, and next year is going to be a phenomenal year. I believe that NASDAQ actually set the record. During a pandemic. NASDAQ just set their record, Larry. Is that a correct statement? So it was higher than even before. It's an amazing achievement.
NASDAQ.
After I was elected president, our country added more than 7 million jobs, 12,000 factories, and trillions of dollars of wealth. NASDAQ. We created nearly 9,000 opportunity zones, and African American, Asian American, and Hispanic American unemployment and poverty reached all-time lows. We had the greatest employment numbers we've ever had, and then we had to turn it off. We saved millions of people by doing it. We did the right thing. And now we're turning it back on, and the numbers are going up much, much faster than anybody would have thought.
Powerfully.
And it's a great honor to see it. And these two governors, by the way, have done a fantastic job. Two very extraordinary men, Nebraska and Oklahoma.
Yeah.
We built the strongest economy the world has ever seen.
It's actually hard to think of a worse governor than the Oklahoma governor.
Did it before the virus. We had to turn it off. And now we're doing it again, and that's what's happening. So now I'd like to, maybe we'll start off with Governor Ricketts, and then we'll get to my friend over here. I'll be seeing so much of you in the next couple of days. I'll take you second. Okay, thank you very much. Please.
Well, thank you very much, Mr. President, and to all of your team here. We really appreciate your effort, your leadership, and that of your teams to be able to help us through this pandemic and really give us the tools to be able to manage it. The PPP program you mentioned has been tremendously
Imagine thanking Trump. If Trump had done nothing, we would have been better off and just let governors actually handle it with medical doctors.
Take advantage of that and really cover over 80% of our payroll. So it really was a fantastic way to be able to keep people working. We had the third lowest unemployment rate in April, and we want to keep people in their jobs. We really appreciate all the work you're doing. And we've, you may recall we were one of the few states that didn't issue a stay-at-home order or shelter-in-place order.
Yeah.
What we did is try to take common steps and ask people to take responsibility, to be able to follow the directives that you all were putting out with regard to avoiding large groups, washing their hands, that sort of thing, and making sure they keep 6 feet in distance in public, that sort of thing. And by doing that and targeting specific higher risk businesses that we asked to shut down for a shorter period of time, we were able to stem the tide.
It's less articulate Jeff Bezos, everybody.
In our state right now, we had since the end of April. So it's got a nice bell-shaped curve where it went up and now it's come back down. Our cases are steady and flat. And now we're just really in the mode of managing this. You put the 10-person rule in place in mid-March, and that bought us the time to be able to strengthen our contact tracing, our testing, our PPE.
So let me just give you guys a bit of a hint here. All of this stuff about Trump put in these shutdowns in March, Trump, way after every reasonable state had already said, this is what we need to do, came out and gave some guidelines which states can follow or not follow. So he deserves no praise for that whatsoever.
So we got kind of the double whammy. Agriculture in particular has really taken a heavy hit between what happened then, last year with the flooding and then the pandemic this year. But again, your administration has been helpful. The Phase 1 China deal, for example, gives it a great mark to be able to sell things. So we really appreciate all that you're doing to help us recover through these terrible tragedies.
And they are buying a lot, aren't they?
They are, and that helps. That makes such a difference, Mr. President. I can't tell
Particularly
you.
new lens on that now with John Bolton saying Trump literally asked the Chinese president to help him get reelected by having China buy stuff from American farmers. It's hilarious now that we now have more context for the China stuff.
Take their animals. So there's a lot of impact to agriculture, and your administration has been great in working with us to be able to help them through it.
That's great. Thank you very much. Thanks. Appreciate it. Governor?
Well, thank you so much for having us, Mr. President. And on behalf of Oklahoma, we're so excited to have you. And like you said, I don't know.
So this may be the worst governor in America. He's definitely a competitor for that.
Come to this event. So it's just going to be an amazing. Oklahoma's ready for your visit. It's going to be safe, and we're really, really excited. But during this whole COVID crisis, as we've been fighting it, your administration has been having calls twice a week. The vice president have been so helpful to myself and all the other governors, listening to what our needs were and providing everything we need. So it's just been going great. And so we're one of the first states that has safely and measurably reopened. We went to Phase 3 on June 1st. So we're 56 days into our reopening plan. And currently we have under 200 people in the hospital across the state of Oklahoma.
Tell me in chat who you think is a worse governor than this guy.
A number of cases, and so the media tries to talk about that. But we knew we were going to have an increase a little bit because we're 56 days into reopening. But what's interesting, it's the 18 to 35 group that we've seen a slight increase, but they're the asymptomatic, and we're testing so many more people right now than we were initially, and the positive cases are still 3.8%. So we've seen a steady decline in the hospitalizations, and we have to learn. I tell Oklahomans that COVID is in the U.S., it's in Oklahoma. We have to learn how to be safe and how to have to move on. And so we were able to build capacity, because the whole reason I issued 25 executive orders in Oklahoma was to build capacity in our hospitals and also the PPE, and we were able to do that and really flatten that curve. And
Kevin's tit feels to me like the guy who, if you just pay him enough, he will literally say anything you can imagine he will say if the price is right.
And that's exactly what we've done, and Oklahomans are being safe, and we can see it in our numbers, but we're ready to get things back to normal and get life back to normal. So again, we can't wait to have you in Oklahoma on Saturday.
Great job, Kevin. Thank you. Thank you very much. Jovita, please.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the opportunity to meet Lori and
You're going to have to get a mic on
and
her.
also to be, thank you. And also to be able to visit many businesses throughout the states. I traveled to North Carolina as well as Dallas and visit with the faith-based and the lending community, as well as some small businesses to feel and see and
But she runs the Small Business Administration. She's meeting with churches. What?
not only in the faith-based, not only in the small businesses, but also the lending community. What more can we do to facilitate more capital for the small businesses? The underserved communities are also being sought after. We've asked the lenders, the very diverse lenders that we've signed up, over 5,400 of them, to provide outreach, very aggressive outreach to our inner cities and underserved communities. I've spoken with some of the governors, I've spoken with the mayors as well, that we need to do more. There's over $100 billion available remaining in the PPP program, a very successful program. You've shared, Lori, how you've been able to transition your business from a very high end to a takeout and still maintain the customer base. And we're realizing this, Mr. President, throughout the states and every state that we visit. Now, the fact that SBA has been able to have a touch point of over 10 million small businesses. We have 50 million that you indicated of employees in one portfolio, and another about 9 million in the other portfolio. So at some point, we will be providing technical assistance, providing some coaching and counseling to be able to solidify those relationships that the new businesses have developed with the lending community. So I thank you, President, for
And
your
thank you
all
very
support.
much. And they've done like more business in 4 days than they did in 4 years.
Right.
It's become a big business. Small business is now big business, so thank you.
Thank you.
You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. Steve, please.
Mr. President, thank you. It's a
Oh,
pleasure
no,
to be
not
here,
Mnuchin.
and it's great to see your economic programs working, especially for small businesses. The PPP has been a tremendous success. We've seen that in the employment numbers. We still have more work to do. We want to make sure that every single person who lost their job because of COVID gets back to work, and we won't be done until that happens. And I'm also pleased that this week, working with the Federal Reserve, we've opened the Main Street funding facility. Again, that
Who's
will
talk-
be
oh, Trump's
accessible to
talking to
small
someone.
businesses down to $250,000 loans. So again, a massive amount of liquidity that's been pumped into the system for small businesses.
Thank you. Larry, how are we doing today?
Uh-oh, is this Kudlow?
Well, weekly unemployment claims fell for the 11th straight week. It's a good sign. We're going to have job numbers in June, and I think will be very strong.
Yeah, fell, but still twice the previous record before this entire thing.
Worked. I think the PPP was superhuman, probably saved 55 million jobs, and we saw that with a 3 million job increase in the May numbers. I compile my list of green
he
shoots,
seems drunk.
sir. We've got
Yeah.
Apple Mobility for traveling, almost back to its pre-pandemic high.
Seems more drunk than
Home
normal.
builder demand and confidence is very, very strong. Automobiles, car sales are moving from 8.6 million to 12.2 million as the factories reopen. As you noted, the retail sales number was a spectacular 18%. Michigan consumer expectations, very strong today. NFIB optimism index, expect economy to improve.
Wait a second.
record jump.
They've been criticizing Michigan for months. Now it seems Michigan did something right and they're taking credit for it?
Future activity indexes are off the charts. If I play reference to the Congressional Budget Office, if we get a 20% increase in Q3, which I think is quite possible, 20% increase in Q4,
What's that smirk on
and a
Mnuchin's face?
5% increase in Q1 2021, we will be back to where we were in 2019. We will have made up for the lost ground.
Amazing.
It's not going to take
That's
5
amazing.
years. We will have made it up with some decent numbers by the first quarter
And
of
hopefully a
2021.
different president by then.
That's called a super V, right?
Super V. I like the I scenario.
It's called a V. It's called a V plus. Well, that's where we're
Is that
headed.
Ivanka? Why is
But
Ivanka
we were headed
here?
to great things,
Is
and
that-
then we
maybe that's not even
got hit
Ivanka,
by
I
the
couldn't
Chinese
tell.
plague. So that happens too, and things happen that you
Chinese
don't
plague.
expect sometimes. So, but we built it once. We're now building it again, and it's going to be even more successful, in my opinion. Kaylee, please.
Oh, no.
Yes, Mr. President.
Why does she
I would
even
just
get to
note
speak?
that the V is indeed an I, and you've described this
If she's just the spokesperson for Trump, why does she get to speak when Trump is here?
sizing because it's exactly that. 2.5 million jobs added, blowing past expectations. You had the experts off by about 10 million jobs. That's quite an extraordinary number to be off by. Also, the Dow above 26,000 points. You mentioned the NASDAQ setting the record. 7 million jobs, 9,000 opportunity zones. You're the jobs president. You did this once. You brought 7 million jobs, and quite clearly what the markets are saying is they have faith
Remember
that you
that
are the
before
job.
coronavirus, job creation numbers were lower than during the end of Barack Obama's presidency. They slowed down. Don't let them trick you about that.
Sometimes going to be better than the first, I think, Steve. We have a shot at it, right? Okay, please, go ahead.
Yes, I'm Anthony Goins, and I'm honored to be here, Mr. President, representing the state of Nebraska. We were really focused on three things in terms of making sure that our economy stayed on track. And first, it was stabilization. So the PPP, the EIDL loan, gave us the liquidity injection that we needed to help us out. Debt servicing, our community banks work very closely with the small businesses to defer payments. And then we move into recovery. And when we talk about recovery, the $1.08 billion that we've received from the Treasury has been a huge help. We've broken it down into 4 programs: small business stabilization, rural broadband. We're giving $1 million for Gallup, and then we're also looking at taking workers that are in industries that are shrinking and retraining them in high-demand industries so we can put Nebraskans back to work in the right
Trump's
areas.
not listening. Yeah,
You
he's not
mentioned
listening.
rural broadband, and we're doing that very big for the Middle West and for our farmers, and that's a very big factor. And as you know, we've started the process already.
Right.
Yes.
And I think you're going to be very happy with it.
Absolutely.
Thank you
Thank you,
very
sir.
much. Appreciate it. Please.
Good afternoon, Mr. President,
So it's not Ivanka.
governors, secretaries, directors, and honored guests. My name is Melissa Hegarty, and I'm proud and honored to be the invited guest of Governor Ricketts from the great state of Nebraska.
Oh my God.
I am a wife and mother to 2 young daughters, ages 9 and 11, as well as the co-owner of 4 bakeries in Nebraska and Iowa. We've been in business for 10 years and have approximately 92 employees. Early on in COVID-19, we decided not to lay off any employees, rather ask the ones that live at home with their parents to scale back on some of their hours if they can. By doing that, it would give the other employees that needed their shifts to be able to cover their rent and other expenses an opportunity to keep their hours. Most of our employees are in their early 20s with no families to fall back on, so it was critical for us to take care of them any way we could. It was an important decision for the federal government to allow each state's governor to decide how to formulate their own plan of how to close and in turn reopen their state. Fortunately, my businesses in both Nebraska and Iowa were able to continue to serve our guests inside the bakery while practicing social distancing, sanitizing between guests, all while everyone wears a mask. We had several terrible weeks of sales leading into Easter. It was easily the scariest time of my life as a business owner, not knowing what would happen next. We did apply for and receive Paycheck Protection Program funds through our small locally owned bank who we've had a strong relationship with since we started back in 2010.
Is Trump paying
That
attention?
program has been helpful for us to continue to meet our fiduciary obligations in terms of promises to our staff, as well as paying our monthly bills. As the virus
Hey
continued
guys,
past Easter,
you know what's funny? More people are watching my stream than the actual official White House stream of this. Like, in other words, we've generated more interest in this than the White House YouTube channel has generated for their own event. Isn't that weird?
our bottom line. Additional employees have been added to answer the phones, and runners are needed to take orders out to the guests waiting in their car. By mid-May, sales
Trump
were
on his
picking
phone
up,
now?
and
Is
we
Trump
did have our
tweeting?
best Mother's Day ever, seeing double-digit growth over last year's weekly sales. So my Nebraska bakeries have now entered phase 3, starting
seems to
this
be
upcoming
tweeting or
Monday,
texting.
of Governor Ricketts' directed health measures. We anticipate our guests' desire to celebrate all of the life's events they missed over the past 3 months. New babies, birthdays, anniversaries, retirements, with our ultimate hope that it will transfer into a much busier summer than we normally would have. I want to thank you for inviting me to be a part of this important discussion.
Thank you very
I'm
much.
honored.
Great job. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Please.
The hell is this?
I am honored.
Microphone.
I'll start over. Thank you, Mr. President. I'm honored to be here representing small independent restaurant industry and the great state of Oklahoma. Thank you for inviting me. I am a small independent restaurant owner. I own and operate Stella Modern Italian Cuisine in Oklahoma City. My restaurant celebrated 10 years in business in April. Prior to COVID-19, I employed 30 people in the restaurant. When restaurants were closed for inside dining, I was
Trump's back
forced
on
to
his phone.
furlough some very dedicated and loyal employees for the first time ever. Since I did receive the PPP financial assistance, I was able to offer all of our staff their jobs back, and all but 3 returned. I want to thank you and Governor Stitt for working so hard for our economy and helping us reopen in a responsible and systematic way. Our industry worked very closely with Governor Stitt and the Health Department of Oklahoma on guidelines to reopen with a phased approach. It has been good to get back to work and to be able to serve our guests. Under the
Trump really
guidelines
just
we
tweet?
adopted in Oklahoma, we are using data-driven points to ensure we are reopening our restaurants and economy in a safe and an efficient manner.
Oh my
In
God, he just
reopening,
tweeted.
our number one goal has been to keep our
Trump is
customers
tweeting
safe
during the event.
as well as our employees. We know there's work to be done to create a sense of confidence in our diners as well as our
Oh my God.
employees and help people feel good about dining out again. We are diligently following
Oh my
all the
God.
guidelines on using PPE for our employees, doubling our sanitation practice, and encouraging our customers to follow the suggested guidelines for social distancing. Restaurants have always had outstanding protocol in place for safely preparing food and serving our customers in a safe manner. As you're aware, the restaurant industry has suffered greatly during this unprecedented time.
Unprecedented
Our job
is the
loss
word you're
and
looking
lost
for there.
sales has been overwhelming.
Oh my
So I want to
God, this is
thank you
pathetic.
for working so hard for our economy.
It's like this lady can't even read the thing. Trump's tweeting while she speaks anyway, so it doesn't matter. I mean, this is a joke.
Economy at large get back to work. There is more that needs to be done, and we appreciate the opportunity we have to work closely with you, your administration, and our congressional leaders for next steps to get our economy and our industry back to work and fully open.
Oh my
President
God.
Trump, America's restaurant industry is grateful for your leadership in guiding us through this pandemic. Thank you again for inviting me to meet with you, and thank you for Governor Stitt for your leadership.
Governor's tit.
in
That
getting
always sounds weird.
Oklahomans back to work.
This
Very
is
nice,
such a
and we're going to
joke.
try and get deductions back for your restaurant industry. And you can look at that man right over there. He'll be carrying the message, but we're looking for the deductions for entertainment, restaurants.
I'm
and all.
sick of
Get it-
winning.
You'll get it right back bigger than before, okay?
Thank you.
Working very hard on that. Please.
Thank you, Mr. President. Honored to represent the lodging industry before America's first hotelier president. Grateful to Governor Stitt for his leadership and for the invitation to join today. My name is Pete Patel, first generation American. My family and I immigrated to the United States in 1979 in search of the American dream.
Now Trump's writing.
We found that American dream in Tulsa, Oklahoma as small business and hoteliers. Our company owns and
Passing
operates
notes
12
now.
hotels in eastern Oklahoma. The current crisis, lodging was the first to suffer because of shelter in place. And we will be the last to recover. It may take up to 2 years. Before COVID, our industry had record occupancies, profitability, and new development hotels, thanks to the exceptional strong economy under your leadership, Mr. President. Because of COVID, occupancy dropped to 20% nationally, revenues fell by 50%, and 70% of all hotel employees were either laid off or furloughed. For the first time in my career, we were forced to lay off employees, and that was the most gut-wrenching experience that we've had. The payroll protection program was a lifeline to our industry to help America's small businesses and our employees. The best thing for our business is that our economy opens.
So embarrassing, guys.
Grateful to Oklahoma Governor for his systematic, data-driven approach to leading our state back to opening. Currently, our occupancies have picked up a bit, but we still have a long ways to go as an industry as well as our market. The hospitality
Trump's talking to
industry
other people.
as a whole
Trump's
has
having
stated are
conversations. You can
reopening
hear him off mic.
hotels in a safe and healthy manner. The industry has implemented what's called safe stay standards, sanitization, PPE use, social distancing, things like limiting buffets, and using grab-and-go prepackaged items. Swimming pools and gyms are limited with appointments for use. Guests and employees are only safe as how we make the properties, and the hotel industry has done a great job in adapting ways to make sure all of our employees and guests are safe. Mr. President, I would like to mention a couple of things. We need more states to reopen, consumers to feel safe to travel. Industry will need additional resources to help pay our bills. Increase cap on the EIDL program would be very helpful to us. And we need pressure relief from our local banks who may be stressed in these times coming up that have hospitality loans. We will need help from the Federal Reserve and FDIC on those two
Trump's not
things.
listening. This guy's asking Trump for help.
In
Trump's not
conclusion,
listening.
Mr. President,
He's talking to somebody else.
America's hoteliers are grateful for your leadership. We appreciate and you know what it's like to own and operate hotels. We are looking forward to working with you towards a swift and strong recovery. Thank you.
I'm impressed by your 20% number. If that was your low point, you're better than any hotel company that I've seen. We had Hilton, and they were at 1%, right? And we had all of the big ones, and they were from 1 to
Painful.
4 or 5%. So if you're at 20%, congratulations. That's pretty good.
That was the average, Mr. President. There was a few of them that weren't that.
I can imagine. That's great. Great job. Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. President, thank you. As your domestic policy chief, what an honor it is to have all of these small business owners here at the White House. I'm reminded that just
Why?
yesterday, Mr. President, we had veterans in. The day before, we were doing policing reform in the Rose Garden. The day before that, we were talking about seniors and taking care of our elderly and fraud. Everything you do, every day, every minute, is how to do the most for all Americans. And the small business, this is the backbone of our country. I'm from a town of 1,200 people, Glen Rose, Texas, an hour south of Dallas, raised by a single mom who had a flower shop on the main street of Glen Rose.
Right.
Small business truly is the American dream at its very, very best. And the work that Secretary Mnuchin, that Administrator Carranza are doing for this country is extraordinary, but it's executing your vision. And so bringing today these small business owners to the White House, talking about how we're going to not just get this country back where we were just a couple months ago before the pandemic from China hit, but to even greater heights than ever before. It's just an honor to be here, and I want to welcome and thank everyone for coming to the White House. And thank you, Mr. President, for your leadership.
Oh, my
Thank
goodness.
you for doing a great job. Doing
Thank
great.
you.
Thank you very much. Okay, thank you all very much. Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, he's not taking questions. Oh, he's not going to take questions. He's getting crushed by the Supreme. Oh, my God, they just wrapped. He didn't take any questions after all of that BS. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And here's Trump tweeting. Let's see if he ended up tweeting multiple times. No, just the one time during the thing. Unbelievable. What an incredible, incredible propaganda event. All right, my friends, I've got to go out and plant some grass seed in my garden. I appreciate everybody who joined me. We did not get the questions answered that we were hoping for, but thank you so much. Twitch, it's just going so well. YouTube is going so well. Make sure to subscribe if you're on YouTube. Follow if you're on Twitch. This stuff is free. And I'll see you on the next one, which it'll be sooner than you think. Let me put it that way.